If you want to know why Bitcoin's not topping yet, watch the video all the way through. Everything I've been saying that's going to happen is happening. Rally's not over. Show you the Bitcoin target levels. Bitcoin's going to the next level of resistance towards 120 to 125,000. There's another fake out sell-off pattern in the form of a double top, just like the head and shoulders was a fake out like I warned you. Please support the channel with the link directly below. That allows me to be able to provide you this information. If you like the charts, you like the indicators, let me know that by supporting the channel today. I thank you for your consideration for that because I don't have any sponsors. I turn all those offers down. I don't want to send you to exchanges that want to get you all leveraged up to wipe you out and you know, people that want to sell you stuff at, you know, double and triple commissions. A lot of shady deals on the internet. So I just ask that you partner with me and support the channel, but I need to hear from you in order to make that work. Let me know that. If you like this information, let me know that by supporting the channel today and just do what you can to help out. I appreciate it. Watch the video all the way through. Do yourself a favor and you will see the target levels. You'll have information nobody else has if you watch this video all the way through, and I'll show you why we're going higher for Bitcoin in my opinion. Now, Bitcoin is selling off as I predicted it would, and Bitcoin is currently down just over 3%. It was down more than that here on the Monday session, but it's doing exactly what I told you it would do. You know, human emotion amazes me because, again, people get so emotional. We had the breakout over here, and I told you if we got above 77,000 that we would move towards the trend lines that I've been talking about. Be very bullish in the weekly time frame. Needed a breakout and then to be able to push above that 77,000 area. We did. I told you we are on our way towards major trend lines, which you'll see in this video. If you watch it all the way through, you'll see why we turned off at this level and the divergences it formed. I mean, it played out like clockwork, no problem. That's where I told you we were headed, in all likelihood, test those trend lines, and again, we'd likely get a reaction there. We did. People get so emotional, though. You know, again, the bullish breakout on the weekly time frame, this is a daily, but we had that on the weekly time frame, and then clearing that 77,000 area took us up to the 108,000 area. Signals in the weekly time frame remain bullish, even with the pullback, but I predicted that we get a December sell-off there. No, it's not going to happen. And then we dropped nearly 18%. I told you we were going to drop down to the 100 period or this trend line, more likely the trend line right here, and try to bounce, which was intersecting with the key support level. I talked about this, and I told you again, I was looking for either a higher low that we had an ABC move. That's why I told you the head and shoulders wasn't going to play out. Either we had an ABC right here and we get a higher low here, or I told you if we didn't get the higher low that we come down to the trend line or the 100 period and then form a bull flag and see a breakout there with that. That's a great length in detail. I gave you both the scenario, the higher low scenario or the lower low scenario. I told you I thought this was an ABC move, and again, the head and shoulders was a fake pattern for people that weren't paying attention to what was going on. Then I told you we bottomed on the 13th. Gee, we bottomed. We hit my trend line. We bottomed at horizontal support. Got a doji. Told you we were bottoming that week before Inauguration Day. We did. Rallied up into Inauguration Day, and we got a top until we rallied 8% on Inauguration Day. Gave it back, most of it. I think we were up 0.89% for the day. Got a topping till there, and I told you we were going to get a pullback of the bull flag pattern. Again, told, oh no, this is a head and shoulders. We're going to get a bigger dump now. And I told you that's not. It's a wave 4, and it's going to turn into a bull flag. It did. Now we're back testing the bull flag as I predicted would happen. After nearly a 23% advance, again, nothing goes straight up, nothing goes straight down. We're back testing it. And again, we could break through the upper boundary here and hit the trend line again or Fibonacci retracement. Right now, we're coming to the 61.8 Fibonacci right here, with Bitcoin being back below 100,000 at the moment. We're at 99,500. We're coming back towards the 61.8 Fibonacci. Could go down deeper, but I'm looking at a Fibonacci retracement and a back test in this area. Could tag the trend line. That's certainly possible, but we are tagging the upper boundary. And so again, I'll be looking for a bottom in this area, but we are reaching the linear scaling, the 61.8 Fibonacci, which again, I look at both linear and log, but this is the trend line, the linear trend line I told you we were going to bounce off of here in the daily time frame. So again, I think once the back test is done, we'll set up a higher low. I told you I thought this was a bottom right here. Again, now everyone's going, oh, it's a double top, it's over, it's over, it's over. And again, Bitcoin's likely going to get a higher low at a Fibonacci retracement, back testing here, maybe overthrowing it a little bit, as it does sometimes. We overthrew this support level a little bit. And again, then I think you're going to rally back up towards 120, or towards really, first of all, our first target, 115,000, 117,000, that range in there for the trend line. The linear scaling in the weekly time frame, then the log scaling, you'll see that if you watch the video all the way through, you'll be in the know. The log scaling trend line, that 120 to 125,000 area, and I think it's above 120,000. And again, you want to make sure you watch the video all the way through. I'll be showing you the Fibonacci extensions and the Elliott wave counts. And again, it's all pointing to the 125,000 area, along with our upper channel line in the weekly time frame with our log scaling. If you want to know what's happening, watch the video all the way through. I'll take the time and show you. If you want to be in the dark, then don't watch it. But I go through and I'll show you why I think there's a confluence of resistance up near the 125,000 area or so. Maybe 122, 123, but again, a lot of things are pointing towards that 125,000 area. But the human emotion, going back to what I was saying, the human emotion amazes me. Again, I was talking about a run up to those trend lines. I told you Bitcoin was going to stall out in all likelihood at those trend lines and get a reaction. It did. People get so emotional. No, it's not going to happen. We had the triple negative divergences on the RSI here and other indicators. And then started saying, oh no, Bitcoin's going to go crash now. And I started telling you at that point on the 13th that Bitcoin reached my objective target here. And again, it was likely going to bounce off the trend line. And we completed that with a doji candlestick. Bitcoin would be going to new highs above 100,000. That's exactly what happened here. So again, people just get super emotional. Again, my signals in the breakout here correctly called the rally, correctly called the top here, called the day at the bottom here, correctly called the top here with that gravestone doji that we had up there as well at the resistance. I made the video about that. And again, the breakout to new highs, and I told you we were going to get the pullback. So again, let's continue to nail it. Again, Bitcoin's going higher. When we get to the 120 to 125,000 area, everybody's going to go, no, 180,000, 200,000, 250,000. Bitcoin is likely going to top at the trend lines. You'll see them in this video if you take the time to watch it all the way through. You'll have information nobody else has. I'll show you why Bitcoin's probably going to top around the 120 to 125,000 range and begin to price in a recession. I remain bullish on Bitcoin. Predicted this pullback. Spot on correct. I think we go higher. I remain bullish on Bitcoin, but I do believe that it will top in all likelihood around the 125,000 range or so, under that or just slightly over that area. And you'll see why if you watch the video all the way through. We're going to set up a higher low, in my opinion, in all likelihood. Fibonacci retracement, testing the breakout of the bull flag, and everybody's going to go double top, double top. Bitcoin's likely going to get a higher low and resume the advance. Now, I've been warning about this sell-off. Here's the catalyst right now. It's, the stock market's dropping and Nvidia's dropping 18% here at the moment, here on the Monday session, as we're getting a DeepSeek sell-off. The release of a DeepSeek is causing tech stocks to plunge, and we're seeing Bitcoin participate there. And crypto, DeepSeek was launched, free open source AI competitor. Now it's all the people that told us that the tech stocks and all of this, that the valuations were ridiculous. Eventually competition on my stock channel would bring Nvidia down. Nvidia's likely peaked February 7th, and again, it's doing what I said it would do, breaking a trend line. So again, the days are numbered for the stock market and for Bitcoin. Watch my stock video tonight on the Ron Walker channel, or this afternoon, I should say, if you want to see what's going on with NVIDIA, and I'll show what's going on with it. And I also posted my charts on NVIDIA on X, formerly known as Twitter, which is @ChartingProdigy there on X. And you could see the NVIDIA charts if you look at it. But NVIDIA is signaling, hey, the stock market, bull market's coming to a conclusion, and the AI rally, the AI bull market is coming to a conclusion. The message NVIDIA is sending, and again, now you're seeing the sell-off in AI as we see competition talking about for months, and I've been talking about that channel, and go watch that video later today on the stock market with NVIDIA, and I'll be talking about it. The nosebleed valuations for the tech stocks is bringing back some reality, and eventually a resetting when we move into the bear market with the tech sector, and I'll talk more about the NASDAQ in my video later today. Make sure you check that out. A lot of earnings. We got the Fed this week. But this is what is causing the sell-off of very, very overpriced tech stocks. The AI stocks and the whole tech sector is tanking today. NASDAQ was down more than 1,000 points, I think, just a little bit ago. With the futures, the NASDAQ futures and the NASDAQ 100 cash index was down less than that, but this is sparking a huge, huge sell-off. And again, it's probably a preview of coming attractions, what's about to happen. And when we get past it, then, oh, it's over, it's over. And, you know, we'll probably see point rise to a new high and then see more selling, probably terminate the bull run for Bitcoin. I don't think this is over for NVIDIA, or for Bitcoin, is because NVIDIA is hitting this 200 period moving average. It's down 18%. But it's probably going to try to come back, claw its way back up, and get a lower high, fill the gap. And I think that's going to carry Bitcoin, S&P back up. The jury's still out on the NASDAQ because, again, I've been looking for possible rotation and a divergence with the S&P 500. But again, NVIDIA doing major technical damage. Watch my video later. I'll talk more about it and show you the weekly charts. If we can fill this gap and bounce surrounding the 200 period moving average, like the Russell just did, I think that that will give us a relief rally for a little while that will allow Bitcoin to move to a new high, that will allow the S&P to move to a new high. But then I think, again, NVIDIA has likely topped here January 7th with that bearish engulfing. So more about that. Check my other channel, my YouTube channel, Ron Walker YouTube channel, for my video later, and I'll talk more about NVIDIA. Now, I told you about VWAP support. Again, this support zone, we bounced out the lower end of that support zone beautifully, and again hit our VWAP support from the low over here, but really bounced off again the VWAPs from the breakout points right here that I've talked about, which again are these levels of support. We tried to take them out and couldn't do it on a closing basis, and we bounced off those levels. So again, VWAP support, horizontal support. Again, we're likely going to pull back here, get a Fibonacci retracement, probably hold above this area here, hold above this low, and then resume the advance. But this is why I told you we were bottoming, and when we bottomed, the trend lines, if you watch the video all the way through, is why I told you we were topping. When we were topping, here's our breakout point. We got the weekly signals turning back to bullish right there. Momentum for the weekly time frame turned it back just before that level. And again, our signals have been consistently bullish since our higher low at the 52,000 area. We've had a couple of bearish momentum signals where these pullbacks, but our signals, and even here on the nearly 18% sell-off, but again, signals have been pretty consistently bullish, except up until this bigger move down here. Had minor turns where they turned bearish. So again, I think we're going to end up going higher. I don't think the top is in at all, but you're going to hear people saying double top, double top. Again, web support, horizontal support did an excellent job of nailing the bottom. I've been warning you about the momentum, warning that, hey, we're going to get a pullback. I warned you that we were likely going to pull back and backtest the bull flag. Warned you about the bottoming signals when they happened over here and here, and talked about this being a counter trend for lower high. Then I told you, watch for a higher low or lower low, and if we get the lower low, watch that trend line and the 100 period moving average. We bounced off of it beautifully. Again, just nailing it. Now momentum's turning bearish. I expect that it will end up resuming the advance. We'll probably see bounce off the cloud or break the cloud, maybe with the bottoming tail or something, and then come back above it. But again, I'm looking for Fibonacci retracement, and again, a higher low to set up here. So again, things are just playing out beautifully. Momentum is turning down right here. Still have a bullish reversal of conditions with my other momentum signal, and I believe this is just a pullback. Warned it would happen. Again, I warned you that we were going to get a pullback. We're now seeing that happen with the signals here with The impulse line turning back to bearish. Also, we have, again, the momentum line turning bearish. We're now going back into negative territory. So again, I think you're going to set up a higher low before going to get the final climax rally here up towards 120 to 125,000 area. Things turn back to bullish here, but momentum is now flipping. The trend is bullish. We have a back test of the breakout of the bull flag under construction with a Fibonacci retracement. Predicting would happen. You predict something's going to happen, just like the December top and the January bottom. I predicted those levels. People get so emotional. They get, oh, we so happy. They don't. Why are we so happy? They don't believe it until after it happens. And absolutely incredible technical signals played out beautifully. Again, the negative diversions at the top, the bullish diversions at the bottom, and again we had other bullish signals, bearish signals back at the December highs, and again the trend lines and so forth that I've been talking about. Pretty amazing. People are what they are. They're emotional. I believe we're going to get a higher low. I don't believe we've topped yet. The video all the way through and you'll see why. I warned you at the last peak that we had right here, the December high, that we were hitting this trend line on the weekly chart. This is the scaling from the 2017 peak and the trend line again from these 221 peaks. Hit it again, and I told you again we are likely going to get a back test of the bull flag. In my opinion, that would be the case. It's now happening. Now, if we go higher, which I believe we will, I think that we will end up reaching this trend line right here, and that could take us to the 115 to 117,000 area. It's interesting that our Fibonacci extension of the previous run-up takes us to a Fibonacci extension to 1.61, which is 151,000 based on the linear scaling, So again, that's a level I'll be watching. Now we may overthrow that and try to go to the 78.6 Fibonacci here on the linear scaling at 125,800 or so, which again is where our resistance is in that weekly time frame with our log scaling. So again, these trend lines have really given us very good information. We're turning down here off of right now. If we can clear it, I'll be watching the trend line here, including the shadow from the first 2021 peak, and then I'll be watching the Fibonacci extension, so 1618 at 115,400 and some change, the 1.786 extension at 125,800. These are the levels I'm going to be watching on the Bitcoin weekly chart. The Fibonacci's with the log scaling are different than the linear, but I want to show you again, we're turning off the trend line just like I told you we would both times, because I expected a back test of the bull flag on that daily chart we've been talking about. Been talking about this channel line was where I think we're headed, this upper channel line right here. Right now we're turning off of this trend line with our log scaling. We've talked about it at great length of detail. Nearly every video I show it to you. I told you from the 2021 low that separates the 2021 peaks. Again, we came up, we tried to just overthrow it ever so slightly. I warned you at that time that we were going to likely get a reaction off this level and get a sell-off. We did. We ended up dropping down by nearly 18%. Now we've rallied back up to it, just like on that linear trend line here in the weekly time frame that I showed you. Again, if we can build momentum, I think that this is where the top will be. If we reach that in the coming weeks ahead here, you could be at 120 to 125,000. If we overthrow the 1618 extension and the trend line on the linear scaling, this is a trend line where I think we move up to in all likelihood. Again, I've talked about how that upper channel intersects with this upper boundary. I believe these highs are pointing to the next high, which again is intersecting with this area where maybe again we overthrow this trend line just a little bit. But again, these lows right here, if you draw a parallel boundary with these two peaks over here, excluding the shadow here, again, you have a really nice looking larger channel. I think this is where we're going to top, and then I think Bitcoin is going to begin to price in the recession that's coming. A recession is coming from the recession indicators. People are in denial. And just like today's sell-off, again, we were told it wasn't going to happen. I've been warning you it would. December sell-off, we were told, oh, no, that can't happen. I mean, people get totally out of touch with reality. Prices go up and prices go down. And I think we go higher. I think this is a pullback, the pullback I've been predicting, but I think we're going to stall in here, and I think that will complete this 5 minor waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that will complete this larger 5-leg push higher in our intermediate wave count right here, and the blue count right here. I think that will complete our primary 5th wave and complete the cycle top. I think that will be followed by an ABC move that will eventually come back down and take out 15,000 and move to this trend line right here, just beyond that 15,000 low, and that will be the next bearish phase. Now, again, after this sell-off and we rebound and we go to new highs, which I think we will, again, when we get up here, like at the December peak, just like at the March peak, just like back at the 2021 top, nobody's going to think that we're going to have a sell-off. Thinks that there's a possibility of a top right there. I think that's likely where we are going to top, and that the cycle peak will come in at. So that's what I think is going to happen with Bitcoin. Now you can see it up close right here. Here's the channel, and here's where I think we are going. Again, depending on when we reach it, maybe 122, 123, 124, 125, something like that. Still at the trend line in the weekly time frame with our linear scaling, it might be a little bit lower, but I think you've got a pretty good shot. You're going to reach this trend line. Where we come into contact with it will depend on where price target is. Again, the trend line is our target, not a number. The number can change depending on when we come into contact with it. Over here in November and December, we failed to reach that trend line. So over here, the target goes higher. Picking up what I'm throwing down. A number is not the target. The trend line is the target. Because we've had the December-January sell-off, it buys us more time to reach that level. It's going to take longer to reach it, but I still think that we will. Don't think the top is in. I don't think we have, and right now, just like the Head and Shoulders, oh, a double top, and everybody's saying, a lot of people saying that's it. I don't think so. And again, my signals in the weekly time frame remain bullish. This is what I think is happening. I still have that accumulation signal in the weekly time frame. Again, from when I called the bottom with that trend line hitting that trend line, and we rebounded big time. Again, we did get a topping tail in the weekly time frame on Sunday. Again, I've been warning you of a pullback. I've been warning you of a Fibonacci retracement, but I still think we go up to this upper boundary here. And again, depending on when we reach it, then that will be where I think that Bitcoin will complete the top and end the bullish cycle. Signals have done a very good job in marking the distribution and the accumulation. We're still on an accumulation, and again, I think that that will end up taking us higher for Bitcoin. Now, not only does my Elliott wave count, not to be confused with imitations, does my wave count, as we're going to that 120 to 25,000 range, so does the Fibonacci extensions. Again, I showed you on the linear scaling. Here it is on the log scaling. And again, if we take the Fibonacci extensions here, we're looking at the 1618 extension coming in at around just under 125,000. It comes in at 124,600, right at that same level. Look at that, peak of stinking boo, huh? And then above that, you've got the 1.786 Fibonacci at higher levels, which would be higher than this area. If I just zoom in and I remove the other extensions, you could see the extension right here at the 1.618 is at, and that came in at the 115,000 with our linear scaling, with our log scaling. With our log scaling, it came in at the 115,000 area or so, 115,000 and some change. I think it's 400, whatever. We just looked at it. Here we're coming in at 124,610. So again, this is where I think we're headed, this 125,000 area or so, or just underneath it. So again, watching this closely. There's a confluence of resistance up in this area. That's what I continue to point out. And again, the intersecting of the larger channel lines, the larger one and the smaller one here from the 2022 low. And again, the Fibonacci extensions all suggesting that we're going to make it above 120,000 on Bitcoin in all likelihood. Now, again, we have that other target level, that other trend line there on the linear scaling if we fall short of it. But my guess is we're going to end up overthrowing that trend line. And again, as I pointed out, higher Fibonacci extension, I think it was a 1.786 on that linear scaling, does point to the same area. So this is where I think we're likely going. And again, this is our log scaling here. And the Fibonacci extensions and the Fibonacci retracements are going to be different when you look at linear and log scaling. Most people just look at the linear scaling. I look at both. You get valuable information from both linear and log scaling with Bitcoin. The linear, because most people, what they're looking at, most people that look at linear the time never look at a log chart. This is where I still think we're going. The pullback that I warned you about is happening. Again, been making amazing calls with the signals. The signals have just been absolutely incredible. I don't think the top is in, but then when it does come in, everybody's going to tell us no, 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 no. Bitcoin's going to have a heck of a time trying to get above this resistance level here. That's where I think we're going to gravitate to, is this next level of resistance. I still believe that we're in minor wave 5 to complete the 5 intermediate waves, and I think we're in intermediate wave 5, and I think once that's done, then I think Bitcoin will complete the primary 5 wave here, this whole thing, and I think it will top out and complete the cycle top. So there you have it. A sell-off as I predicted, but I think it's just a pullback to backtest the breakout of the bull flag, and I think the bull flag is going to take us up into this area. I think we're going to top. A confluence. You got a confluence of resistance in this area. That's going to be really, really hard for Bitcoin to get through that level. Now, again, people get emotional right now. They're getting emotional. The sell-off, and again, they did that in December. The sell-off in December, they told us it wasn't going to happen. I called the bottom there on January 13th. We hit my trend line, and again, I told you I thought we'd make our way up here. I still believe that that is going to be the case, but people get extremely emotional. They really do. Now, in keeping with that log scaling target, let's look at the log scaling here in the daily time frame, and this is interesting. Again, I've told you that we are going to break out. Told you we were going to bottom at the trend line, break out, move to new all-time highs. Did that immediately, and again, I told you we'd be pulling back. Everything that I've told you is going to happen is happening. Look at the previous run-up to the December high, and if we look at the Fibonacci extensions, again, a confluence of resistance all at that 125,000 area. Take a look at this. The Fibonacci extension could take us up to the 125,000 area here. This is our log scaling. Our linear scaling is very, very close, just a little bit different, but very, very close to that same area. A couple $100 difference between the two. But this is the log scaling right here. And again, I think that is likely where we're headed. And if we reach this area, we'll be hitting that upper boundary channel line in the weekly time frame. So the Fib extension here in the daily, the Fib extensions in the weekly with their log and linear scaling, I think there's a confluence of resistance up at that 25,000 with log, and a little bit lower than that with our linear scaling trend line there at around the 115,000 area. But again, if we exceed it, we can go XFib, which would be, again, that 125,000 area. Some things I'm looking at. I'm going to show you these Elliott wave counts because I don't think that minor wave 5 has completed, and I believe the Fibonacci extensions will take us higher. I don't think we have a double top here, just like I didn't think we had a head and shoulders pattern over here, which again, I told you about it, but I told you I thought it was a fake pattern and that we'd bounce off the trend line.